Hello, welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel where we do miscellaneous things. Today we have a very special guest on the channel who will be talking to us about his American Idol experience. As you know, I'm a huge fan of reality TV. I'm obsessed. Munfarid was on American Idol season 13 in 2014, and he had a big viral moment that broke the internet for that time. And I'm very, very excited to talk to him.
Hey,
Oh my God, I've been waiting for the last year, like couple years to meet you.
meet Harry. Let me
I know
guess.
probably
Keith
Jayla's
and
got most of
Jennifer.
the attention today, but I read your Wikipedia page every day before going to sleep.
Who are we talking about? Me?
Me? Harry.
Really?
See?
I got one.
It was you.
I got one.
He's the guy that's been reading
Cue
it.
the music. You know who I am.
It's so nice. That is so awkward.
I'm touching you.
There's something weird about that, Harry.
It's very weird.
I could actually hear the music in my head.
Yeah,
It's
no,
on slow
yeah, it's all-
motion.
it's
I
all
saw
gonna happen.
everything.
Could he actually sing while you're holding him? That would be
Try
kinda-
that?
Yeah?
Tell you
I'm
what,
up for that.
How about this? If you blow us away on the first song, I'd like to pick you up and hold you like a baby on the second.
That is a weird incentive.
So I'm just really curious about everything, literally everything about his experience, from his audition to his viral moment to like the aftermath to his elimination to how fake American Idol is as a reality show. I've heard a lot of interviews with top model contestants, Drag Race former contestants. I haven't heard many interviews of someone that's been on a singing competition show and the original singing competition show. So I'm very excited to talk to him. And sorry for the poor audio quality. I have to use my headset for this to get the Zoom audio going. But here it is.
My name is Munfarid Zaidi. I was an American Idol contestant on season 13. My name is Munfarid Zaidi. I'm from Sugar Land, Texas, currently a student at the University of Texas at Austin. And I came to audition at American Idol because my parents forced me to go.
Yeah, that was 6 years ago.
It was, wow, that time flies.
Okay, you saw this question. I just want to know, are you under NDA right now on
know,
anything from it?
I did sign a NDA immediately after, so in the first round, after we are like accepted past the first round, they have us sign this like, I think it was like 27-page NDA, but most of the stipulations were don't tell anyone until the show has aired, then you can start talking about it.
About the experience.
Exactly.
Like even behind the scenes stuff you can say.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. And I remember, so we're connected through a mutual friend, a mutual close friend, Sofi. And I remember it was like all hush hush, like, oh, is he gonna make it? Or things like that, because I wasn't close yet. So I was like, I don't know. Or like, y'all wouldn't tell me anything, basically.
Yes, I was not supposed to tell anyone whatsoever.
But it expired, like, once it aired or once it was over, like
Exactly. And
there's
then they
no
kind of
like secrets of production that you signed not to tell.
Yes, as far as I know, I don't remember all the details of that contract super well. So if there was anything, I might break it and not even realize it. But I will try not to do so.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fine. I've seen, so it's been like a trend this year of like top model contestants and stuff coming back and like spilling all the tea on Tyra and stuff. So like, I think most things have expired from like
Yep.
those times, but who knows. So you made it to Hollywood Week
Yes.
on American Idol this season and had a cameo in the finale. We'll talk about that at some point. What made you go into or want to audition? I did see an interview of you saying your parents played a hand in that.
They did. Yeah, that was totally true. It was the summer. I didn't have anything like particularly to do. My parents knew that I had talked about American Idol. We had watched it growing up. I'd loved the show initially, and I'd always said that I wanted to go and audition. But something was just telling me, like, you've already narrowed yourself down to the medical school route. and you know that that's what your future is going to be. Why bother doing something like this at this point? But my parents, strangely enough, were the ones who told me, you know what? Hey, just try. Give it a shot, see how everything goes. And I thought, yeah, okay, I have nothing that I'm particularly doing this summer. Why not just see how it, what happens if I were to go on? So that was basically why I started it all.
That's awesome. No, that's cool. I feel like immigrant parents are like not cool with the arts until you become famous, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm famous too," you know. So they're like, "We want our shot."
Yeah, no,
And
that's very true. I was surprised.
and you got it. But you were a sophomore in college. Like, I just feel like, you know, you were on this big med school path, and that was like your big story, your backstory in the show. And like, I feel like you were so young, like you could have dropped and done something else, very likely. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. I could have stopped the medical school path and started music. I could stop music and start the medical school path at any point. So I knew I was pretty like undifferentiated. So I guess that's also part of the reason that I thought I'm willing to just give this a shot.
Cool. And then what was the steps to audition? It was in Austin where we were going to college. And what else? I don't know.
Yeah. It started with that Austin audition. There are many cities around the country where they'll be holding these auditions. And there you only have 15 seconds to showcase your singing and try to get some attention from these producers. There's a bunch of music producers who are there who listen to you, and then they will ultimately decide, are you going to move on to this next stage or will you not? So it's not quite that everyone sees the celebrity judges. I think that is a common misconception amongst viewers, but it's a pretty open secret that's not how it works out. It would be pretty difficult for the celebrities to see thousands and thousands of people from each city, after all.
Yeah, so there's a screening process. So we know like the crazies that get in because they're crazies.
Yep. Yes. It's very much the case that people who make it to that next step are screened to see like, hey, are you here because you think you may be good and you want to give it a shot? And the producers will see you and say, yeah, this person's pretty good. Let's have them through. Then there's other people for whom it's like they don't realize that they're not like musically or vocally talented, and they are totally unaware of it. So they go and it's kind of like they're making fools of themselves and they don't even realize that they are. Those are also people who end up getting through. All of the, I guess, the serious contestants would like see it and be kind of uncomfortable that this was a part of the competition, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a very reality TV aspect, I think, of just putting in people. Well, embarrassing people, I think, is like the whole MO of reality TV a lot of the time. Or that's what makes good TV.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I remember Bikini Girl back in the day, like way back in the day. I don't know if you remember her. I wonder if she showed up to the screening process in a bikini as well. She probably did.
She probably did.
But yeah, that was so, like, there's always gimmicks like that of like someone dressed weird and that's just, and they don't make it obviously past the judges, but they're just there for the funsies. But like you ended up having a moment that was one of those viral moments despite you having real talent that you showed. You also had an extra moment in your audition that made that episode special and got you some sort of viral fame.
Okay.
You gotta pick him up, Harry.
I know.
Cradle coming on.
Yes.
I feel a cradle coming on.
Oh.
Ready?
There'll be music to accompany this, trust me.
Okay.
Okay,
what are
what are
you
you
gonna
gonna
sing?
sing first now?
Relax. You just relax.
Okay,
There you go.
okay.
There you go. You put your hand on my shoulder. Okay. What do you got?
I just want you close, where you can love forever. You can be sure.
This is phenomenal. Give me his ticket.
Harry, you've never sounded so good.
I'm taking him out. I'm bringing him to my hotel.
I love you.
I love you too.
Congrats.
Yeah. Why was he cradling you?
Because I love him.
Oh my God, when he said, I just want to hold you close.
Yeah.
How did that play out in real life first, I guess?
Yeah, good question. How it really was that I was going in and there was nothing planned there. This was not like a scripted reality TV show event at all, which is pretty true of most of American Idol, to be honest. Nothing is like pre-prepared that this is what's going to happen and this is how people will react. I went in just planning to just sing like any other contestant, but I knew who Harry Connick Jr. was from beforehand, and I thought he was an awesome judge. He's a great performer. He's really funny. He's musically gifted. So I was like most excited to meet him. Everyone was super excited to meet J-Lo, and understandably. But I think because people didn't know him as well, he was really excited.
Well, I rewatched the clip, and they before you came in, they showed all these shots of people not knowing who he was.
Yep.
And it was just like it's just like so it was like the build up to your audition where you knew who he was, and it was
Exactly.
like everyone else was like, who's he? Is he related to Robert Downey Jr. or whatever? And you came in as like a stan, which really differentiated you in that moment.
I didn't know that was how it was going to plan out, or how it was going to pan out. I just went in there just saying how I felt. But I guess it kind of worked in my favor because of all the craziness of him picking me up and then having a second song to sing after the first one was done. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was crazy. And he picked you up once, and then he picked you up after as a reward for being good.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
That was crazy. And then, well, okay, one question I had when I watched that was random and kind of unrelated to anything, but is the background windows real where you see Austin? Or is it a green screen?
It's a green screen. The room was pretty dark, actually. There was just the green screen behind the judges. Yes, that's what it is.
Oh my God, I clocked that. I really did, because I was like, this looks real, but I'm like, where would this be? That's the thing that I was like, where is this? Because I've been in Austin long enough that I'm like, I don't even know where this would be, where you would get that exact view.
It would be like the Long Center for Performing Arts, or like right next to the water, which makes no sense. There's nothing over there.
Exactly. I was just like, this is suspicious. I don't know why. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sorry you had to break the fourth wall.
That was a good catch.
Another random thing that came up when I was watching that, how do they handle like copyrights of like what you're singing at all?
There's a list of songs that you may or may not sing. There's like a whole list, like these songs you are not allowed to sing at all. Here are songs that are okay. I think there was some flexibility of like, they can't cover every single song after all. So there was songs that were like beforehand, like listed as these are songs you may sing if you would like to.
Got it. Like
there are artists that you can sing from.
Wow. And then, because you sang a second, that's what prompted me to think about that, because you sang a second snippet of a song when he carried you, and I was just like, that's, that wouldn't have been pre-approved, or maybe it was, I don't know.
It actually was. I knew which songs were okay for me to sing.
Nice.
And when that moment had started, I just thought, what song can I think of that would be like appropriate and also funny for the moment? And those two things like overlapped for the No One by Alicia Keys. So that's how that happened.
That was a good on-the-spot thought, because I mean it's that med school brain. I think you memorized that list. And are you an Adele stan?
Ella Fitzgerald is definitely one of my big musical inspirations. Adele, I got really into her. Love her stuff.
I have been like a huge Adele stan for a long time. I mean, a little bit less right now, just because it's been a good gap of time since her last album. But
she's taking her time.
Yeah, she is.
I'm just wondering, because you mentioned her in an interview that I saw. I was like, and you sang her song for your main audition. Exactly. That was a big Adele era, though.
It was a big Adele era. Yeah, I mean, I will say I'm a little bit less of a diehard stan, but I still think she's great.
Once this crazy audition airs, the viral moment. It went viral, right? That you would classify that as viral.
Yes, and I know that because for a couple of weeks, if I went to my Facebook timeline, all I would see is stuff about me. From every person that I know, there would be like links posted or something sent to my wall or like this or that. I would have to scroll down to find non-me related stuff, and it like kind of freaked me out at the time, and I just like stayed off of Facebook and stopped responding to people for a little bit.
Did you not expect that reaction to that moment? Because you
I
knew that
didn't.
moment happened, but you didn't know how it would be received.
Exactly, like that clip. My audition ended up being the last thing to show on that episode of the show. It was like the premiere episode. I did not know that was going to happen.
The
I had no idea when.
premiere. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So I knew it'd be funny, and I knew like a good number of people would see it, but I did not think it would become the moment that it ended up being.
Wow. That's crazy. But, like, that's the thing. I think when you become famous, like, people come out of the woodwork. Did you experience that? Like,
Yeah. I was in the Walmart sandals aisle and just like wearing a tank top and shorts and like flip flops, and I was looking for like new flip flops, and this woman and man appear out of nowhere, and they ask if they can like lift me up and take a picture like this, and I said yes before I could think about it. So weird stuff like that happened for a while.
that's crazy.
I was at dinner at Kirby Lane, and this happened again, and the lady could not like lift me up because I think at the time I was like 130 pounds or 140.
You're tiny. I
I
would
was
say
tiny.
that. Tiny.
It's weird to see like the comparison of now and then. People always say that same thing, but I was still too heavy for her to lift up, so I had to like put one arm on the floor and just like prop myself. Oh yeah, it was
Wow.
it was something.
You're a queen for the people, doing doing the most for your fans.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But okay, so and then you also had like your old high school like posting that you went to their prom or you graduated from there or something, and it was just like everyone was trying to claim you.
Yeah.
Was that happening a lot?
Yeah, it was sweet in a way.
Yeah.
I have moved quite a few times, so to see people from long before remember who I was and like tell stories of times they've interacted with me was pretty fun. It was funny and fun. I didn't think too negatively about it, but yeah, it was a little strange. Like my old choir would put up an article, and I would think like I haven't talked to these people in years, and now suddenly here it is.
It's like in Princess Diaries where everyone finds out she's a princess and the mean girl's like, oh, yeah, we're best friends, actually. And everyone's like, or she's like, what?
Exactly, yeah.
People will just cling on to fame, I think, and just get so excited they know someone that made it because it's so rare. It really is. Even though Andy Warhol said, everyone gets 15 minutes, not everyone.
I never believed that quote until it happened to me, to be honest.
There you go. No, yeah, the viral star, I think, is like the epitome of like that prediction that he had. So, season keeps airing. You make it to Hollywood.
Yes.
And what was the timeline of that? Like, how much later?
There are months that pass between some of the auditions. That first audition comes, and then you meet with producers I think it was a couple weeks to a month later. Then after that is yet another audition round. So there are 3 of them that happen before you get to the celebrity judges, which is the first audition that you see on TV. If you get the golden ticket, then you go to Hollywood after that. So Hollywood is kind of like round 5.
How do they explain the people that aren't there?
Let me make sure I understand your question. The people who aren't there, as in like people who aren't there but were in the previous round?
Yes, yeah.
They would like, the way that they set up the TV package is that they focus on people who they know are going to be on the celebrity judges audition rounds.
That makes a lot of sense. Whoa.
The videotaping in the earlier rounds is just of like the stands of where everyone's waiting, so it seems like they go directly from round 1 to round 4.
Wow, that's how like you just have to sing again, or do you do interviews?
You sing each time. You start getting interviewed once you get to round 4 is when the interviews start. So that's when a lot of those YouTube clips of me talking about my background, where I came from, why I went to American Idol, that's when those happened.
Got it. There was months. So you were like in school, right? You had to like leave school to go to Hollywood?
A lot of the contestants were still in high school, so they tried to do it over winter, where you had to fly down to Hollywood, California. And for me, that was when I was doing final exams in college. I had a physics final that was before Hollywood week would begin. All the other finals had been done before then at that point. And my physics professor is like this lady who has been at UT, and I think is one of the first female professors, and I want to say the College of Natural Sciences. And so she like did not know very much about her American Idol and didn't think that it was especially important. But she was flexible with me enough that she said, you know what, swap to the final of this other professor, and whatever grade you get on that, I will transfer over to this final. Unfortunately, that final was with the calculus-based physics, and I did not do calculus-based physics. So it threw me for a little bit of a loop, but I got through it fine, and I'm here today.
I'm sure you did. You're like a genius.
Thank you.
Even a totally different subject, you could pull it off.
No, a good bit of luck, a lot of hard work,
Yeah.
not much physics talent here.
Yeah, oh, fuck, screw physics. Once you get to Hollywood, I was seeing these clips of you there with like working with a group, and how like there was like drama with your group. Not drama, but one girl was like sick.
Yes.
Was that like as big a deal as they made it seem, or was it more like an excuse to get y'all?
But not everything is in rhythm, as Munfarid Zaidi, Ali Odom, and Gina Asciuto are scrambling to make adjustments after their 4th member went missing.
Where is Kenya?
We don't know where. She told us that she was going to talk to the judges and tell them that she wants the day off because her voice hurts.
Well, hopefully I can come back and see her in my group and just see.
So while the other groups are fine-tuning their routines and putting the final touches on the most important performance of their lives, all the members of Clarity can do is await Sekenya's final decision.
You ready? All right, let's go.
So it looks like she's gonna give it a try.
I feel a lot better now than earlier. If the other contestants have something to think, oh well, I don't care.
It was kind of scary not having her with us because we've been practicing with her for 24 hours. And I hope the judges don't judge us more harshly.
We ready? Okay, hit the stage. Good luck. Let's go get him.
Thank you.
How you doing, Clarity?
We're doing great. We're just ready to do this.
Now, have the 4 of you just been a very harmonious, cohesive group?
I would say
Everything's been
recently, yeah. We just clicked recently.
Yeah. I'm sick, so.
good? You're sick.
Do you think it's a good idea to tell us that, so we'll be thinking about that? Do you think it'll work for you or against you?
Let me speak on her behalf, because I don't think she needs to be talking too much. She came down with a horrible flu earlier today. She's almost lost her voice completely. But at the same time, she didn't want to give up this opportunity.
Well, you're a trooper.
She is a trooper.
All right, let's hear it.
So that was where it became the most reality TV up until that point, to be honest. And I will tell you what exactly that means. At Hollywood, there are a couple rounds you do solo first, and then there is group week, I think, or the group round after that. Once I had gotten to the group round, I ended up grouping up with these 3 girls. One of them ended up being the runner-up on the show.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Of the 3 of them, one of them, it seemed like, got sick. And so we all kind of recognized, hey, this is a really like important opportunity. We should just power through this. She was doing her best, was trying hard, but ended up getting frustrated that she wasn't sounding as good as she wanted to, wasn't able to practice the song properly. She basically said, you know what, I can't do this. And she stepped away, and she went to talk to the producers. And we'd kind of been told, hey, she's not going to join your group anymore. She might drop out of the show. or if not, we'll figure something else out. And so suddenly we went from 4 people to 3. We had to change our choreography. We had to change the arrangement we had done for our harmonies. And we had just kind of decided, okay, so this is what's going to happen. But I knew, because I knew this is American Idol, and I know that this is a reality show, that she is probably going to be back. And she'd be back at the last possible moment. At which point we would not be able to prepare for it, and we would just be in chaos. It'll make great TV. I told my group members, and they thought, yeah, there's a good likelihood that this is going to happen. So we agreed. We have to make it so that when she comes back, we embrace her. We act super excited that she's back. Because if we don't, and we actually react negatively, because again, hey, why did you just leave and return at the last second and are going to throw us totally off instead of working with us through all of this? That would look pretty bad, and we would look bad in front of millions of people all around the country. So we sucked it up, and we tried to be mature about it, and we adjusted for her, gave her back the same part that she had before, and we just went on and did what we had to do. So it ended up being pretty okay. We, instead of looking like big, like just rude people, we looked like the homely, wholesome group.
No, yeah, you really did. And you came up and you defended her. You were like, she's been fighting the flu or whatever. And you were like, you know, you defended her. But you specifically, they showed. I don't know if the others did, but yeah, you stepped up to defend her. And that was like
so chaotic.
yeah, that sounds very, the whole like bathroom scenes and all that is very reality like trope, I think. And like you guys lying around, like you weren't practicing. I imagine you still would have been practicing something.
We were practicing like crazy, but that moment was real, where we were waiting for something, and we were just like, geez, we have not had like a moment to sleep. Let's just like lay down and like relax. And as we were doing that, somebody with a camera came up to us.
Oh my God. Yeah, and it looks like you've just been sitting around the whole time waiting on this girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so reality. But I bet it just gets more and more that way as the show goes on, I would imagine.
For sure. And you know, the show doesn't make things happen that did not happen. It doesn't like give you a script and tell you, here's what we want you to do. There are just scenarios that they create that make it so that those reactions are kind of inevitable. They're going to happen. So that's American Idol's reality TV show, Ben.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot from reality TV contestants from all kinds of shows. Yeah. They often say something similar about like, yeah, I mean, they don't control the script, but they control the whole circumstance. So that is a lot of power.
Exactly.
So that's crazy. Okay, so then you pass this round. I don't know how many rounds this was, or this era part of the show, how long it lasts. It's been a while since I've watched a full season. Yeah. Eventually you get eliminated, and there was like, people were mad. Yeah. You were robbed.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that. I was eliminated in, I think it was like the penultimate elimination, where they would be deciding like who's going to move on to that top 30. So there's a good number of us still there, and that was like going to be the big cut. They never showed anything about what happened around me. I'm not entirely sure why, because I recorded quite a bit of stuff with the show that would like explain like, here's how it went down, but I still have medicine to fall back on, and I'm excited to continue to be a doctor, but we'll keep music as a part of my life. But I think that just the narrative didn't fit as well into the other things that were going on in the show. And there's probably like some of these packages they do with a bunch of contestants. So they must have just picked another contestant's story to showcase towards the end. Because you can't like show every single person and who went on and who didn't.
Right. No, yeah, and it's weird though that they wouldn't show you, and I think I've read that somewhere, that people were like, when did he get cut? Because, you know, people were wondering, and
Exactly.
then you were just gone. And it's weird they didn't show your exit interview, especially if you filmed it and everything.
Yeah, they showed quite a bit of me beforehand, so I guess it was a little strange that they didn't follow up with that story. But yeah, that's probably just how TV works.
No, yeah, the fans, your fans, I'm sure that's where the robbed statements would come from. But
yeah,
so you were like the med student. That was like your story, right?
Pretty much.
I'd been really set in medicine. I was sure that I was going to go into medicine. I still am studying at UT to be a doctor.
After the viral picking up moment, your whole story was that you were a med student. And reality TV loves to just put a label on someone that is easy to understand, and just like that's their whole, and they can't like deviate from that.
For sure. I was the pre-med person who's going to become a doctor later on. I was the one who was picked up by Harry Connick Jr. Those stories followed me around. They also kind of seemed to rely on me for saying the right thing to the camera. So frequently throughout the show, they would have somebody coming up to you with a camera and asking you a question. And like obviously in this sort of environment, not everybody knows how to talk to camera as well. But it turned out that the sort of things that you say while interviewing for medical schools and knowing how to prepare answers translates over pretty well for reality TV as well. So I felt like they identified me as the say something during dramatic moments in front of a camera guy, in addition to the other things.
Yeah, I bet producers have like favorites or people they know to go to that will give them a good soundbite.
Oh my God, yeah, they definitely did. I had a producer who would come to me for like specific moments and would be like, okay, Munfarid, here's what's going down. Tell me what you think.
Was it like a thing where like you had certain producers assigned to you, or was it just like hectic, any producer could come up to you at any time?
It depended on where in the show you were. In some points, there was like the producer who is with me and is working with me and would record certain moments that I was going through. There was this is peripherally related. There were only some contestants who were like Ryan Seacrest contestants, right? And they were the ones where they knew the story was following along this contestant. So they would have Ryan Seacrest come in and do a little bit of filming with them and be a part of their story. So that also came with a whole different set of producers and specific times that you had to go and work with them.
I forget Ryan Seacrest is there. Like, did you get to meet him, or was it just
many times? He was the nicest person on the show. I never had an interaction with him that wasn't positive. Even when the camera is turned off and no one is around and watching, even if you're one-on-one with him, he is always nice to you.
Wow, that's nice to hear. He's like America's sweetheart.
Exactly.
That's so cool. Oh my, that you got to interact with him. That's not always the case. I feel like
that's definitely not always the case.
Yeah, like J-Lo. Did you interact with her at all?
I did. Often that was in front of the camera when we weren't filming. They were off doing something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they seem a little more like. Well, Ryan is like the ground guy with the people, so that makes sense. But that's so cool. Oh my God, Ryan! He's so famous. He's such a mogul too. He like invented the Kardashians.
Yeah, he went on to do quite a few things. That's true.
Yeah, like I don't know how. It doesn't seem to fit that those two things. He's like this America's sweetheart, and then he invents the Kardashians as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like okay.
He's smart. I guess he knows how to jump from one thing to the next.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so because you had a viral moment, you were sent home, I guess, but then you came back for a finale cameo.
I did. I got an email quite a bit later as the show was already progressing, saying, hey, we want to do a surprise thing during I think it was the top 10 is where we had been at that point. And they said, you're going to come out. No one's going to know this is going to happen except for Ryan Seacrest, a couple of the producers, and you. So I had to be like snuck into the show. They flew me down with like a week's notice. The plane ticket was very expensive, by the way.
Wait, they didn't cover that?
No, they did.
Okay.
I didn't have to pay for it. I was just blown away that they could do something like that at such short notice. I flew in. I forgot my belt, so I had to like cover and hide up that I didn't have a belt on with the suit that I was wearing to come out during the top 10. And I saw Ryan Seacrest there again. I took a picture with him that I put on Facebook later on, something that I could not have done earlier on in the show.
Remember Munfarid, Harry's biggest fan? We met him back in Austin. We're going to dedicate Junior's upcoming performance to this young man. We'll be right back. I know someone who really connected with that performance tonight. I mean, this guy, he must have absolutely loved it. All the way from Austin, Texas, on his spring break. Cue the Doors. Take a look at it. Munfarid, ladies and gentlemen.
This is phenomenal.
All right, Harry, you mind if I sing one more time?
Would you like to sing it as I cradle you, or would you like to stand?
I think you know the answer to that question.
Okay. Let me flex my glutes. Okay, and set.
All right, I think you might know this song.
Okay.
Every man should know how to love her. Every man should know how to care.
Why are you not in Hollywood? You sound fantastic.
Every man should recognize.
Oh, this is such a small, sweet moment. I was practicing that moment with Ryan and with like stand-in judges who would pretend to be the three celebrity judges for the moment. So it was a rehearsal we did earlier on. I think it was the day before, actually. And I come out, I sing, I think a different song. It wasn't the one that I ended up singing, which is one of Harry Connick Jr.'s songs. And after I sang it, Ryan was just like, man, I don't know why you're not still on the show.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Yeah, I mean, you're a great singer. I was listening to that audition and like all the notes. I mean, I'm not very good at music, but I know there were a lot of notes in there.
Found myself today singing out loud your name. You said I'm crazy. If I am, I'm crazy for you.
I see a cradle coming on.
Sometimes sitting in the dark, wishing you were here. Well, it sure do makes me lose my head. I keep on trying, fighting these feelings away, but the more I do, the crazier.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, when I listen to it now, I notice the mistakes, and once you've heard something over and over, then you start getting tired of it, so it's a little cringy for me to hear now. I want to say I sound better now than I did then, but I'm glad that you liked it. I guess it went over well, so it would just be like sad to be the funny contestant who is also not very good.
Yes.
Totally okay with being the funny contestant who is also a decent singer.
No, yeah, they were impressed, and that's why he picked you up too, because they were like, only if you're good, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you were good, and yeah, it's not often the funny people are like the good singers. It's true. It's like Sanjay, I remember him.
Yes.
He made it far though.
He did make it far.
People loved him. Like I remember the craze. He was like a boy band or something.
Oh man, Sanjaya Fever. I remember it was wild. He was not bad. I think there was just so much like personality that went into what made him as successful as he is, which is funny because, and you mentioned boy band. I think that in like modern day, especially with like Korean pop music, your personality, the way that you dress, and all these other things are very much a part of what makes you a star. So I think Sanjaya would have done pretty well in like the modern format.
Oh, so true. He could be a TikTok star.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's up to now. He needs to do one of these. Maybe he has one of these interviews. So it wasn't the finale you were in. It was like a top 10, one of those episodes.
I think so, because I saw a couple of the contestants, a few whom I had been pretty good friends with during the audition process, and you know, they were so like welcoming. They were very surprised. One of them was like, "What the heck are you doing here?"
Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised to hear you say it was such a surprise because whenever I see those things on TV, I'm like everyone behind the scenes knew or saw him. Like I don't think people go to the length of like hiding you on set, but they seem to have done a lot more than I expected to
They
like
did.
sneak
You
you.
know, I think to a degree they don't trust people in a reality show to be able to like
Fake.
yeah, consistently act. So they do their best to make things authentically like a surprise or make them actually happen. One of my friends who is a filmmaker, Nathan Yue, he's in medical school with me, had told me while we were recording a video for the medical school that when you're lip syncing, you have to actually sing. You can't like just mouth the words. When you know it's not real, then the people who are watching also know that it's not real.
He got that from the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Oh, did he?
That's a key lesson.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, good to know.
No, it's true, but yeah. Wow. No, yeah, that's so true though. I never thought of that point of like you can't rely on these people that are real people to be acting all the time and be believable to an audience.
Exactly. But you know, real people are messy and they do pretty funny things on their own. So I think it ends up working out pretty well. That's why reality TV seems to work as well as it does.
Oh my God. It's such a monster. It's such a monster now.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you get close with like the winner or like any of the people that went on?
Yeah, you know, and the winner, CJ, was also a super nice guy. Yeah, I had pretty good relationships with a good number of people. I'm still friends with some of them on Facebook, and we talk sometimes. One of them, Savion, went on to do a couple other things as well. Now he's actually a school teacher, and he's a great guy. He was one of my fellow Texans, so I think that's why we got a little bit closer than the others.
Nice. Yeah, I imagine it feels like summer camp or something, like or boot camp or I don't know. Those things seem
Definitely
very
a mixture
like
of those things.
strenuous and like you're just with each other for a long time. So you
What's
like
super cool is that sometimes when the cameras weren't rolling, groups of contestants would just like sit together in a corner, pull out guitars or other musical instruments, and make up arrangements and performances on the spot. We were actually not allowed to do that very often because then you could hear it in other rooms where there was recording happening. Definitely, that was one of the biggest like perks of being on the show, is just being around excellent musicians and making great music that there's just no other environment in which you could have done something like that on the fly.
that's so true, except for in Camp Rock or something.
Exactly. I felt a little Camp Rocky.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that, how it's like you're all musicians. So like it's cool to be around each other. Like I don't think about, I just think about like you're competing. So you're like cutthroat or something, but it's like, no, you're with people that are like you or share an interest.
You know, everyone was trying their best to look good, but they were also super supportive of one another. I think there's a little bit of like knowing we're all going through the same thing. So despite knowing, hey, one of us is going to be picked and the other one's not going to be, and when one person's just really, really good, it makes you feel a little bit inadequate. But I never saw a moment of someone trying to tear someone else down to make themselves look good. Consistently gave each other like standing ovations after performances. There's a lot of like that camaraderie there that I was happy to see.
I feel like most people at that stage too are like good already. Like to make it there, you have to be good. So it's like, it's hard to be like, well, they should go home or what? Because it's like, there's so much talent and feels like everyone's good at that point. They're just going by stories.
That's very true. Once you got to that point, there were a lot of excellent musicians there. Yeah.
Do you still have any fans or anything from back then?
You know, not particularly that I like interact with people who, you know, it's hard to say because those fans, once you've known them for a while, just become like your regular friends. There are some people who I became friends with who started off as fans of me from the show, who I probably would not have met and known today otherwise. But yes, because I haven't had that like consistent on-screen presence since then, I think fans just turn into friends.
Wow, that makes so much sense. And also you don't have like a big social media presence. I think when you were on, it was still a time before basically every reality TV star became like a social media star afterwards. And I feel
Yeah.
like you were just before that time
That's
when
true.
that became like more of a thing.
Yes. I also didn't have that like stamina needed to maintain that social media presence. I think maybe now I could have done that had it happened more recently. But yeah, I wasn't great at it. And that probably contributed to it a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and I think now we have apps that make it easier maybe, or like we're more familiar with what the apps are that are like more permanent, I guess, but
Exactly.
it's hard to it's really hard. Like even just me like making an art Instagram, it's like it's so hard to like keep up with it and just like make content that's like I don't know. It just even for regular people it's hard. So like keeping people's attention, it's like seems very difficult. You have to just put a lot of time into it.
That's true.
And you're in medical school, so
it's a little bit tough to juggle all of that. So it would be tough. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
You should. I mean, you should be on Twitter.
Yeah.
That would be good. You should get on TikTok and sing there. Honestly, like,
that'd be fun. Yeah, I am definitely open to that. I've thought about it a little bit, and I'm starting to learn a couple of new instruments. So maybe I will like make new arrangements for songs. That might be fun.
Honestly, TikTok's a place. I get a lot of because I like seeing like mashups and stuff. So on my page, I get a lot of like little producery mashups of songs. So you should. It's like a good place for that. It's just it seems to be the most creative app out there right now, in my opinion. But yeah, you're on it, you know. Looking at now, how has that experience of being on American Idol impacted you or shaped you today? Does it have any impact? Is it just fun? Or
yeah, that's a good question. It does have an impact. It like often comes up when people say like, what are interesting things that you've done in the past? I've mentioned it in a couple of residency interviews. Residency is like the training that you go through once you become a doctor to like subspecialize in a certain kind of medicine, like surgery, anesthesiology, internal medicine, stuff like that. And so in those interviews, they often ask you about like, what are unique experiences you've had? So this always comes up as one of those unique, kind of unforgettable things that I've experienced. It still kind of affects the way that I see other TV shows and reality shows because I never noticed it before when editing was contributing to how a story is presented, but now nonstop I can see, oh no, they definitely twisted this and made it look this way. I bet you this is not what this person had actually, it is what they said, but the order in which it was said has probably been shifted around. So it's changed the way that I view things because of that. I also see like famous people a little bit differently. I don't think I was necessarily famous. I was just viral for a little bit, but it changes the way that I view what their experiences must be like.
You have more empathy, I'm assuming.
Empathy, and I can kind of imagine how that they're looking at it. I guess that is a little bit of empathy though still.
No, yeah, like you got a taste of like a first-hand taste of what that is like, which a lot of people don't get.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you watch any reality TV shows or have since then, like loyally?
Yeah, good question. What have I watched since then? I watched the Great British Baking Show, which is like I think kind of similar to American Idol in that it's a reality show, a competition to see who's the best at blank. And similarly, I see the contestants being really supportive of each other, despite the fact that they are all vying for that same spot. That's probably my favorite one that I've seen recently.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a big favorite. I watch it occasionally, but more like in a relaxing mode.
Exactly.
I usually my reality TV tastes are a little more competitive or dramatic. I don't know.
Yeah, awesome. Those are a lot of fun.
The Drag Race and the top models and stuff. But
exactly.
Do you have any thoughts on like I feel like the American Idol effect of like The Voice and the Masked Singer now is like the hip one, which is not the same, but it's so dumb to me, but lots of people like it.
They do. Like I know that you call it the American Idol effect. I've heard that word used before. I think the reason American Idol made such an impact is, or maybe not necessarily, this is why it made an impact, but people became famous singers after winning the show, or maybe just having been on the show for quite a few years. So it was like a really important cultural institution in the United States, and even to some degree beyond for a while. I think other shows seeing that thought, hey, there's this whole industry to capitalize on, and they went after it. But as time passed, I think what makes people famous singers has changed. Like Mariah Carey, for example, in the era that she came in and became famous, being an excellent singer was basically like the end-all be-all. Celine Dion, same thing for her. But I think what makes people successful singers now is different, and it's different in a way that I think competitions like American Idol has a difficult time capturing those people and bringing them into the limelight.
Yeah, I think reality has shifted currently. I think it's in social media where you find it's almost like people have to gain a bunch of followers and then they start getting looked at seriously.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's the only, or that's not the only way singers get discovered, but that's like a big thing because people see the potential and a big following now for like selling things, basically.
For sure, it's almost like your followers become your resume that you bring to get you to that next step going on.
Yeah, and that's, I feel like the reality TV competition was that place for like a more democratic rise to fame.
Exactly. Yes.
And now it's in the social media's hands.
Social media. Still, I think democratic because you have to convince people that you want to watch them. But yeah, totally agree.
For sure. Yeah, it's social media. Man.
Like Shawn Mendes, for example, I think he started off on social media and is now like one of the most famous singers in the U.S.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah. And then Madison Beer, I think of her, who's like kind of rising, but like she looks like basically the carbon copy of like Instagram model. Basically, that's like her look, and it's just like she's a good singer, I guess, but it's like whatever comes with the social media. Wow. And you were saying about the impact of American Idol. Cameron had to write a whole paper on like how American Idol like helped the 9/11 grief in the early 2000s and all that, and that was like why American Idol became so successful, because the American society was looking for like something to root for and like a positive thing to unite under. Which hopefully I'll turn that essay into a video someday, but I just think it's crazy how much impact it can have at a certain
awesome.
time.
I had not considered that, but they did kind of come into being at the same time. That's super cool. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's something for everyone to come together.
What are you up to now, and is there anything you would like to say to any fans from that era that may be watching?
What I'm up to right now is even right now I am applying to and interviewing for residency programs. I'm going to become an anesthesiologist, who are the doctors who put you to sleep and take care of you during operations when you're undergoing surgery. And it's an awesome field. I'm super excited about it. What I would say to my fans is, I'm still singing all the time. There's still videos here and there that I put up, whether it's for Johns Hopkins, which is the medical school that I go to now, or for other little things here and there. I'm still keeping it going. Hopefully I will start posting videos for like social media that you guys can follow up with. But yeah, still going strong, both with medical school like you guys saw on American Idol, and with music too.
And that's so cool. Like, I'm telling you, you were so young. Like, it could have very well been that you found pre-med was not for you, or medical school was not the best path. There's so many paths you can take as a sophomore in college, and it's just cool that it's like your brand stayed true.
It did.
The med student. I swear I learned that from the Hunger Games, that they like assign you a label and like stick to it. And it's crazy because that was like a dystopian fiction, but it's like what actually happened.
A little bits of reality and dystopia, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, you were the med student and you're still the med student, but you're almost You're almost there.
Almost there, yeah. Super excited to be getting there to help some people out.
That's so exciting. Is there anything you want to sing? If not, it's fine. I can cut this, edit out.
Let me
I
think.
saved that as a surprise question.
Awesome. No, I love that. I will think. You know what? Let me just make it full circle and sing a little bit of "Crazy for You" since that's what started all of this.
Oh my god! I hope I don't get copyrighted. Just kidding. It doesn't matter because I don't make money.
Oh, fingers crossed. I'll start in the same part that I start in the show. Found myself today singing out loud your name. You said I'm crazy. If I am, I'm crazy for you. Sometimes sitting in the dark, wishing you were here turns me crazy. Well, it sure makes me lose my head. All right. Thank you.
Oh my god. That's so exciting. Full circle. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I hope there's people out there that enjoy it. I mean, I'm sure there will be. I mean, my audience isn't like any but I'm just so curious about reality TV, and like it's just so fascinating. Even the most mundane little details are just so interesting to me because it makes this magic that people connect with.
Yeah.
And really, like, I don't know, they fall in love and it's real.
Exactly. No, totally agree. Thanks for having me on, Fling. I had a lot of fun.
I got some tea there. I got some tea about the green screen. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I feel like I always have these questions and I just yell them to the air and like no one there to answer.
That blew my mind when I saw it in real life. And wait, where did this come from? I just saw black like studio lights behind.
Oh my god, I'm still. I know it's like so lame, but I'm just so excited. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Hope you get into all your residencies.
Thank you.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you'll get into all of them. And
fingers crossed.
Hopefully you can put me under sometime for my plastic surgery. Just kidding.
Sounds good. I got you.
Munfarid, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so I actually wrapped up my conversation with Munfarid, and I was able to get in touch with my friend Sofi, who is our mutual friend. Sofi is actually there for a lot of Munfarid's filming, especially in the beginning process of his auditioning, and there was actually some B-roll that was shot of Munfarid on campus to show his that he's a med student by the show, and I believe the B-roll did not end up getting used, but I had forgot to ask Munfarid about this in our interview, so I asked Sofi if she could come in and give her side because she saw a lot while she was waiting around for Munfarid in the audition process, and she was part of this filming of the B-roll. So here's her side of the story. Right, so I just did my interview with Munfarid.
Oh, okay.
And I actually forgot to talk about the bike thing, the B-roll thing, which is the part you were there for.
So we went to camp. Okay, so I mean, you already know the whole story, but at some point they wanted the American Idol crew wanted like footage of Munfarid being like a student on campus. That's like who he was, right? So like, he was like a smart, like aspiring doctor or whatever. So like they had me, I think it was me and one more friend come and like walk with him through campus and like hold books basically, you know, like oh, you're
books
going
you
to
didn't have because you weren't studious.
And we were in the yeah, like we didn't have any actual like textbooks with us, but whatever. But yeah, we were in that like that fountain area of campus. What is that called? Like, I don't know, South Mall. And they were like really trying to get some good shots or something like interesting, I guess. And they were all mad because like my shirt had a logo on it, and they were so mad at me for that.
What logo?
Like some like thing that they couldn't like afford to put on TV, right? I can't remember now. It like basically they wanted me to have like a blank shirt because. Right. And then they see this one girl walk like driving by on her bike on like a cool looking, I guess, kind of like big bike. And I stop her, and they're like, wait, and they're like, we want, they're like, they told them like, hey, we want you on the bike. And so as she's stopping, and they go to her, and they're like, I didn't see this conversation, but they're just like basically saying like, we need to borrow your bike. And obviously this is a UT student. She's like on her way somewhere, and she's like, what? And she's like, oh, they're like, you know, we're filming. We'll pay you $50. Like, I think it was $50. I don't remember exactly. But they're like, yeah, we'll pay you $50. Just like, let us use your bike for like a few minutes. Munfarid isn't like a bike person. I don't know why they wanted a shot of him riding a bike through campus.
Oh my God, the audacity to just ask a girl. But I mean, they have that kind of budget. They can just like throw $50 around. I mean, yeah, I would do it too if I was her.
I'm sure she could have been like, no, 100. Yeah.
But like, it's so stupid because it's like, yeah, he doesn't ride bikes. People don't carry their textbooks out. Like, just so many things that's like, this is the student life, but it's...
No one does that. Yeah.
It's manufactured.
Yeah. But yeah, so they had him like literally just ride a couple times through that street, like on South Mall, just back and forth to get the shot. I don't know if they got a good shot of it, but they made him ride a lot.
Did he even know how to ride a bike? I mean, I'm assuming he did, but it's just like, if they put me on a bike,
I mean, he
like...
knows, but he's like... That's true. He knows, but he's not like particularly good at it.
Did they even, I don't think they even used any B-roll like ever in the show. So like this was literally just thrown away too.
Honestly, that's what I was gonna say. Like, honestly, so much of this that I remember doing and being like, oh, we gotta go do this, they need this, they need this. They didn't use any of that.
None of it. You were never on TV at all, right? Like for this?
I think the only part that I was in was I was like greeting him when he came out, maybe for like a super short minute.
I rewatched that and see he just like ran out of, I think it was the conference center.
Maybe they didn't even leave that in. I can't remember now.
Maybe it was just YouTube compilations I was watching.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if he told you the story about how like we had to redo our like greeting of him when he came out. Oh, okay.
No, he was very political about reality TV and how like it's pretty real.
He's remembering something different than I am. Yeah, like, so the first, like, because you know how it's actually 3 auditions, but they make it look like just one.
He did talk about that.
Yeah, so like, I think on like the real first one, I think, maybe the second one or something, that's when they wanted us to like, me and Alex were there sitting waiting for him for like hours to audition. So we were going to be there when he comes out and had his ticket, and we'd be like, you know. And so we were ready to do that, but we had to redo it because Alex was holding a water bottle, and it was like, you know, logo stuff, and we weren't excited enough for them. So they were like, let's do it again, like that, make it more excitement, take the bottle out, whatever.
You literally lived that comeback when Valerie Cherish, she's like, well, I got it, and it's like not excited enough, and she just keeps doing it. Oh my God.
I got it.
Well, I got it. All right, you can't use that, okay? That was a crazy person, and you cannot use it.
Oh my God.
It's all coming back to me, yeah, because the first time was authentic because we were actually really happy for him. The second time we were like, what? And we just did it again, and I guess they liked it. I don't know.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's so true. It's never excited enough.
Yeah, no, we needed to like scream. Yeah, I don't know. But I think me and Alex sitting in the like waiting room for him for hours saw a lot of shit that was like, that's so fake. Like,
good. Well,
we were watchers, you know.
Yeah, and reality TV takes so much. It takes hours. Like you don't realize when you watch it. It makes sense. Y'all were waiting on him.
We were there for so long, and like we met people there. They were cool. But we also met people who were like getting filmed. You know how like they get their bits that they're recording in the waiting room, and they'll ask people if they like someone's story or line, they'll ask them to repeat it like 10 times. So they were doing that with certain people. This one guy who like was Indian and was talking about his mom, and like he was like referencing his mom, so he's like doing an accent of her, and they were like, "Oh, do that again. That's so funny." Like they were just like, do that again. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. I do remember that they didn't actually have permission to film on campus, so they were like kind of being stealthy.
What? That is the tea.
Sorry, my internet's really slow.
No, that's tea.
Yeah, like I remember, I don't know who told me if it was them or if it was Munfarid, but it was like, oh, they would have had to go through all these permissions to get like able to film on campus, so they're kind of like low key doing it. Maybe that's why they didn't end up using it. They like would have asked permission later or something.
Oh my God, that makes sense. Cause yeah, that's a lot to film for not putting it in at all. But yeah, maybe they asked UT and UT was like no, or it was too expensive or too hard.
Yeah, it was probably too expensive to like keep that. I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting.
We did a lot of scenes walking around the South Mall area and just, I don't know. At some point they were like, oh, now we would just want Munfarid, and then we just walked away.
Do you think Munfarid was robbed?
Yeah, because I think he's like a really good singer, but at the same time, like he made it pretty clear that he wasn't committed. Like if you show yourself on the show to not be like, this is my dream, this is all I ever want to do, like I would do nothing else, and he wasn't doing that, like it's just that's not what they want to show, I guess, you know?
I mean, I saw people or articles from back then that were like, why did he get cut? And it was like kind of sudden, so like his fans were like, what the heck happened? Robbed.
Yeah.
And for no good
People
reason,
really
like he was
him.
doing good.
Yeah, yeah, he was doing good in like the challenges. He was like, he has like a crowd favorite. He's a very good singer. So yeah, I think it was just like they didn't maybe think he was very TV-y. Like, I mean, I don't know, because he probably wouldn't have done that as a career. I don't know.
Right. No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I remember they brought him out for like some special show after too, like once like oh, like we're bringing back old people who are fun. Yeah, right? Like that's what I remember him flying out to California for that.
Yeah, we talked about that. He said they paid for his very expensive flight.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that was good. I was happy for him. And
I'm glad you were able to come on.
Yeah, I think
give it another side.
Yeah, sorry. My internet's like definitely pretty bad right now, but I think hopefully that was good enough. Yeah.
No, thank you for popping in out of nowhere. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Thank you so much to Munfarid and Sofi for popping in last minute. I learned so much about American Idol, and I'm so excited about all the things I learned. Let me know in the comments if you remember this viral moment, if you have any favorite American Idol or reality TV show memories, anyone I should interview next. I don't really have any kind of connections or ways to do that, but comment below who you would want me to question and interrogate about their reality TV experiences. I also want to cover more reality TV show topics in general on this channel, so I'm hoping to continue to do that in 2021 and sort of dive deep into what makes reality TV and how it impacts our society and our culture. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe this video if you enjoyed, and you can follow me at Miscellaneous on Twitter and Instagram to get updates about my new videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.